President Trump on Tuesday unveiled plans for a so-called Golden Dome. It's his twist on the Iron Dome.
In a surprise announcement on May 20th, President Donald Trump revealed that the United States will build a national air and missile defense system nicknamed the Golden Dome. It is meant to block any missile attack, from traditional intercontinental rockets to cutting-edge hypersonic weapons, by firing interceptors from space, the ground, and everything in between. This plan boldly aims to revolutionize strategic defense, but it's already sparking fierce backlash, especially from North Korea, which has branded it an outer space nuclear war scenario. For decades, the US and Russia have been in a silent sprint to develop missiles capable of flying around the globe and striking each other. In recent years, China has joined the race, unveiling its own long-range and hypersonic warheads. Hypersonic threats can travel at least 5 times the speed of sound and dodge radar by flying at low altitudes or sharply changing course mid-flight. Some Chinese tests hint at glide vehicles reaching up to Mach 20, launched from satellites or ground launchers. At the same time, both Russia and China are fitting multiple nuclear warheads onto single rockets, so that one launch can scatter several warheads over different targets. Together, these advances leave existing defenses, like Patriot batteries on land and Aegis ships at sea, looking increasingly vulnerable. That vulnerability is the backdrop against which the Golden Dome emerges. President Trump said that within less than 3 years, the US will field a coast-to-coast shield against any aerial attack, promising a success rate close to 100%. He emphasized that the system would bring nationwide coverage, not just protect key cities or military bases. Interceptors would fire from both Earth and orbit, effectively turning the entire sky into a protective crossfire zone. It is worth noting that this is not the first time a president has chased such dreams. In 1983, Ronald Reagan floated the Strategic Defense Initiative nicknamed Star Wars, but 1980s technology ultimately fell short. Now, with modern rocket motors, smarter sensors, advanced computing power, and private space companies joining the effort, Trump says the moment has finally arrived to finish what Reagan started. Beneath the catchy nickname lies a 3-ring network of defenses designed to engage hostile missiles at every stage of their flight. The first ring consists of space-based boost phase interceptors. These are rockets or missiles stationed in orbit or on high-altitude platforms that would target adversary missiles during the first few minutes of their flight, when rocket engines are still firing and the missile's plume makes it easier to detect. Achieving this requires a constellation of fast-reaction satellites to detect a launch, compute intercept solutions, and cue an interceptor within seconds. If that phase fails, the second ring kicks in advanced mid-course defenses using upgraded variants of existing interceptors, think Arrow 3, Standard Missile 3, or next-generation THAAD, as well as new space-based sensors to knock warheads out of their coasting arcs in space. Finally, the third ring is a terminal phase system on the ground that includes high-speed anti-missile guns, directed energy weapons like lasers or railguns, and point defense interceptors to clean up anything that slips through. By stacking these layers, the intent is to force an adversary's missile to break through multiple barriers rather than just one. Invincibility, however, comes at a steep price. President Trump has pegged the build-out cost at roughly $175 billion over 3 years, which is about 1/5 of the entire Department of Defense budget for 2025. The White House hopes Congress will approve an initial $25 billion in a must-pass funding package this summer. But experts warn that lifelong costs could top $500 billion when operations, maintenance, personnel, training, and software upgrades are included. Replacing interceptor missiles, launching replacement satellites, maintaining ground stations, and defending the network against cyber threats all add recurring expenses. That projected $500 billion tab over 2 decades will require Congress to keep voting funds year after year, through changing administrations and shifting political winds. The schedule for a full system rollout by 2028 strains credulity for many in the defense community. The window for boost phase intercepts can last as little as 2 to 3 minutes after a missile launch, demanding near-instant detection, tracking, command decisions, and kill shots. Any delay in satellite data, communication links, or interceptor response could let a missile clear its booster phase and release multiple warheads. Sensor fusion across space and terrestrial networks must work flawlessly. A single downed satellite or a successful cyber attack could create a blind spot. Furthermore, Trump has promised an open architecture approach so the Pentagon can swap in new technologies over time. While that wards off vendor lock-in, certifying dozens of contractor systems to interoperate seamlessly creates a massive integration challenge. Officials are also vetting 3 system designs, codenamed Silver, Gold, and Platinum, each balancing coverage, cost, and complexity differently. Picking the wrong configuration risks expensive rework or critical coverage gaps. There is also a moral and strategic debate about whether near-perfect defense deters conflict or tempts policymakers into greater risk-taking. The announcement of the U.S.'s Golden Dome missile defense initiative has sparked significant concern among global powers, with Russia, China, and North Korea expressing strong opposition. Russia has criticized the project for destabilizing the global arms balance, although it softened its stance later, suggesting it was a sovereign U.S. decision. Despite this, Moscow remains wary of its long-term impact on strategic stability. China, in turn, has warned that the Golden Dome could escalate the arms race and transform outer space into a militarized battleground, urging the U.S. to abandon the project due to its violation of international space treaties. North Korea's reaction was even more harsh, labeling the plan an attempt to create a nuclear war scenario in space, accusing the U.S. of pursuing global dominance at the expense of regional security. These reactions highlight growing concerns over the militarization of outer space, with critics fearing it could provoke more advanced missile developments from adversaries, leading to an intensified arms race. Weaponizing space on a massive scale also raises legal and diplomatic questions. Putting kill missiles in orbit blurs the line between peaceful uses of space and outright weaponization. Rival powers will demand new treaties to limit on-orbit weapons or risk an unchecked arms race in low Earth orbit. Space debris from testing or operational engagements could endanger satellites, international space stations, and future missions. All these factors point to a complex interplay of military, political, and legal considerations that extend far beyond engineering bullet points. Despite the daunting hurdles, some see the Golden Dome as the next logical step in an age of fast, globalized conflict. The United States has long relied on a patchwork of defenses: ballistic missile submarines, fixed silos, tactical missile batteries, and regional anti-missile shields. The dome aims to knit those pieces into a unified network that can adapt to new threats and integrate future breakthroughs in artificial intelligence, directed energy, and hypersonic interceptors. Private space ventures, led by companies like SpaceX, Blue Origin, and others, could inject rapid innovation into satellite manufacturing, launch costs, and software development. At least one report suggests that SpaceX is in early talks to help build the satellite constellation needed for Golden Dome, partnering with firms that specialize in data analytics and ground-based sensors. All in all, the Golden Dome reflects a simple truth: the technology underpinning global deterrence is changing, and stagnant defenses can become liabilities overnight. If the United States wants to maintain credible deterrence, or at least the appearance of invulnerability, it may have no choice but to pursue an ambitious, costly, and politically charged project like Golden Dome. Whether it becomes the shield that rewrites history or the white elephant that hobbles budgets for decades, this effort will shape the future of warfare and the fragile balance of power in the 21st century.